and Wells Fargo and some and ConocoPhillips actually. But it's the criteria have changed. You need it to be a dividend payer. You need it to be something that you want to own, not just a short-term spec. Something, their balance sheet. You want their PE, their price to earnings ratio to be as narrow as possible in this market. But mainly, I would steer away from stocks and I would look at commodities. The metals, precious and otherwise. I think in the long run are going to be a winner. I like crude oil. I think foreign currencies. If you can get some money into the Swiss franc or the yen, that can't be terrible. Overall, I would just say that you need to defend what you have if at all possible. And if you have, at this point in history, if you have a revenue stream and some cash flow because of your job, you know what? Buckle up that belt. Don't listen to these people that say go out and spend like a drunken sailor and it'll help America, because, that's a load of bull, and you need to defend what's yours and prepare yourself for some rough times, because, our government has given the reins over to some people that have no interest whatsoever in the health and welfare of America, other than the corporate corporations that are in debt to them, like GM or Goldman Sachs, and of course the United States government, who is the biggest debtor.
What about in terms of the issues that you think may creep up between now? That has not even been discussed, some of the challenges that you think the new president will face?
Well, I think there are going to be several, and, I'm just speculating here, but I think there's going to be, more and more pressure for there to be a world central bank, like the Federal Reserve issuing a world reserve currency, and there's going to be more and more pressure to trade commodities like oil and steel in other places that would settle to this world reserve currency instead of the dollar, because, like I said, the central banks don't care if that happens or not, but the people do. These individual countries see that they're the last to touch this constantly devaluing currency, and they're made to hold it the longest in this current system, because we have trade deficits, Armstrong. It's like, for instance, China, we buy 70% of what they produce, so there's all these U.S. dollars going their way and all these cheap Chinese goods coming this way, and it stays that way. We never roll out of it. So they're sitting on a bunch of dollars, and we're sitting on a bunch of Chinese junk, and that creates problems, because then you have a powerhouse like China, and there are many, many other countries. I mean, Japan, the Middle Eastern oil cartels that are in the same boat. They start feeling like, what, if this is going to be our kind of Keynesian money supply economic model, if we're going to go with this, then we want to be the first to touch the new liquidity, like the United States has been for all these years. So they're going to push for that, and you're going to see this G20 and G8, all that stuff, and they're going to act like it's all for the good of the world markets. But in reality, I think it's a more sinister move towards world government, because the reality is the Federal Reserve basically runs our country, and if we get this global reserve currency, then they'll basically be consolidating that political power over the world, because they have the purse strings. So I think that's one thing that Obama's going to have to deal with. I think we're going to have to deal with the fact that we can't afford what we're doing. We have a $1.1 trillion, $1.2 trillion foreign policy that has armed men on the soil of 130 some odd different countries, and I think we're going to have to start looking at it as if, what if that country had armed soldiers on our soil guarding their interest here and running down people in convoys and stuff? There would be severe blowback. We would be up in arms and literally be taking shots and blowing stuff up, and we have to start looking at that. And I think Obama has a chance to actually be more conservative than any administration, probably in 50 or 60 years, and actually pare that back. I don't think he will. I think, it'll be status quo. I said it before. I didn't see any difference between him and John McCain in the real issues, and I think I think, I'm going to stand by that. But I think those are two big things, the currency issue and the foreign policy issue.
Before we say goodbye to you, because many people ask, tell our audience a little about yourself.
I guess I'm not real good at this kind of thing. I'm a derivatives trader.
You're getting better at it, by the way.
No, thanks. I'm working on it. I'm a derivatives trader. I also have some 3 pieces of heavy equipment operating over in Egypt with a business partner. I'm a 30-year-old male.
But we know you're a man.
I don't know what else to say. It's.
But look, listen. It's always a pleasure having you on. I mean, you loaded the lines up today. We appreciate that. Makes my work easier here, which is always a pleasure. And then I called you. What was it, 4 a.m. this morning? I should do the show.
Yeah, probably so. I think it was about 4.
Yes, I know I did, and you remember because you did follow up later. Josh, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Armstrong.
You're welcome. On behalf of all of us, God bless you from the Armstrong Williams Show. Have a blessed day.